Stop scrolling. I mean it. Whatever you were about to click next, whatever distraction was pulling you away from yourself, put it down. Because you and I both know you didn't land here by accident. Something in you recognized this moment before your mind could catch up. Something deeper than logic, deeper than curiosity. A pull, quiet, undeniable. The kind of pull that only shows up when your soul has been screaming for something your mouth doesn't know how to ask for. And I know what's been happening to you. You're exhausted. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind that lives in your bones. The kind that makes you stand in the shower a little too long, staring at the tiles, wondering when everything started feeling this heavy. The kind where you wake up and the first thought isn't excitement or hope. It's just, here we go again. You've been carrying something invisible to everyone around you. You walk through your day and people see the functioning version, the one who answers texts, the one who shows up, the one who holds it together in meetings or at dinner or in front of the kids. They see someone who's fine, maybe a little quiet lately, maybe a little distant, but fine. They have no idea. They have no idea about the 2 a.m. conversations you have with yourself. The ones where you replay everything that went wrong and wonder what you could have done differently. The ones where you ask questions that don't have answers. Where am I going? Why does this hurt so much? When does it stop? Will it ever stop? They have no idea that behind the smile you perfected years ago, behind the "I'm good" you've said so many times it's lost all meaning, there's someone who's been quietly drowning. Not dramatically, not visibly, just slowly, the way a fire dies when nobody feeds it. Not all at once, ember by ember, until one day you look down and realize you can barely feel your own warmth. I see you, right now, in this moment. I see what you've been hiding, and I'm not here to fix it. I need you to hear that clearly, because the world has been selling you the lie that you need fixing since the day you were born. Too emotional, too sensitive, too intense, too much, not enough. Fix your body, fix your mindset, fix your attitude, fix your heart. Hustle harder, pray more, think positive, let go, move on. You've heard it all, you've tried it all, and some of it worked for a little while. You'd feel better for a week, maybe 2. You'd read the right book or hear the right quote, and something would click, and you'd think this time it's gonna stick. This time I'm gonna wake up and the weight will be gone and I'll feel like myself again. But the weight always came back, didn't it? Not because you failed, not because you're weak, not because you didn't try hard enough or believe hard enough or work hard enough. The weight came back because you were trying to fix something that was never broken. Read that again, slowly. Let it land somewhere deeper than your thoughts. You were never broken. You were never the problem. Not in that relationship that fell apart. Not in that friendship that went silent. Not in that family dynamic that made you feel like a stranger in your own bloodline. Not in any of the rooms where your presence was treated as an inconvenience instead of a gift. You were whole the entire time. You just forgot. And the forgetting wasn't your fault either. It was survival. When the world keeps telling you something is wrong with you, eventually you start believing it. Not because it's true, but because believing it hurts less than fighting it every single day. So you adapted. You built a version of yourself that the world could handle. Softer edges, quieter voice, smaller dreams. You learned which parts of yourself were safe to show and which parts needed to stay locked in a room nobody had the key to. And you got good at it, so good that eventually you forgot there was a room at all. But the room is still there. and the person inside it is still alive, still waiting, still you. If this is finding you at the exact moment you needed to hear it, type "I'm ready" in the comments. Not for anyone else, for yourself. Because something shifts when you stop thinking it and start declaring it. There is a version of you that existed before the pain taught you to hide. Before the first time someone made you feel like your love was too much. Before the first time you learned that being yourself came with consequences. Before you started editing your personality the way you edit a text message. Deleting the parts that feel too honest, too vulnerable, too real. That version of you isn't gone. It's the one who's been watching this whole time. Quiet, patient, unflinching. While you spiraled in anxiety, it was still. While you cried yourself to sleep, it held you without you knowing. While you told yourself you were worthless, it sat there, undisturbed, knowing something you'd forgotten. That you are not your thoughts. You are not your pain. You are not the story that was written about you by people who never took the time to read you properly. You are the awareness behind all of it. The space in which thoughts rise and fall like waves. The ocean, not the storm. The sky, not the clouds. And the sky has never once been damaged by a storm that passed through it. Not once. Not ever. I know that sounds like a concept, something you'd read on a quote page and nod at, and then forget by the time you close the app. But stay with me here. Because this isn't philosophy. This is the most practical truth you will ever encounter. Every single thing you've been struggling with, the anxiety, the sadness, the confusion, the feeling of being lost, it all stems from one misunderstanding. One lie so deeply embedded in how we're raised that most people never question it. The lie that you are what happens to you. That your worth is determined by your circumstances. That your value fluctuates based on who loves you, how much money you have, what your body looks like, whether you hit the milestones on time. That if bad things keep happening, something about you must be attracting them. That if people keep leaving, something about you must be pushing them away. None of that is true. None of it. Your circumstances are weather. They change. They shift. They rage and they calm and they rage again. But you are not the weather. You are what remains when the weather passes. You are what was there before the storm arrived, and what will still be standing when the last cloud clears. And the storms you've survived. Let's talk about those for a second. Because you minimize them. I know you do. You tell yourself other people have it worse. You tell yourself you're being dramatic. You tell yourself to just get over it because it happened years ago and you should be past it by now. But you sat in rooms where you weren't safe and pretended you were. You loved people who used your devotion as a convenience and your absence as a relief. You held yourself together during seasons that would have shattered someone with less depth than you. You carried the emotional weight of entire households, entire friendships, entire relationships on shoulders that nobody ever thought to ask if they were tired. And you did it quietly. That's the part that gets me. You did it without making it anyone else's problem. You processed your devastation on your own time, in your car, in the shower, at 3 a.m., with the volume up so nobody could hear. You've been so strong for so long that you've forgotten that strength like yours has a cost. And the cost is that nobody checks on you, because you've made it look too easy, because you trained the people around you to believe you didn't need what you've actually been starving for, to be held without having to ask, to be seen without having to perform, to be loved not for what you do, but for who you are when you're doing nothing at all. That's not too much to want. That's the bare minimum of being human. And you've been living below the minimum for longer than you'll admit. But something is shifting. Can you feel it? It might not have a name yet. It might not look like anything from the outside. But inside you, tectonic plates are moving. Foundations that were poured by people who didn't understand you are finally cracking. Beliefs you inherited before you were old enough to question them are losing their grip. The version of you that hustled for approval. The version that measured its worth by productivity. The version that couldn't sit still because stillness meant feeling. And feeling meant remembering. And remembering meant facing something you weren't ready to face. That version is exhausting itself, on purpose, because you can't become who you're meant to be while you're still performing as who they needed you to be. Something has to die, not you, never you, but the mask, the role, the carefully constructed character you've been playing in a story that was never yours. And I know what happens when you start shedding that. It doesn't feel like freedom at first. It feels like falling apart. You lose interest in things that used to drive you. People you used to need suddenly feel distant. Goals that once seemed vital now feel hollow. You look in the mirror, and the person staring back feels like a stranger. That's not a breakdown. That's the beginning of the most important thing that will ever happen to you. You're waking up. Not the waking up where you open your eyes in the morning and reach for your phone. The other kind. The kind that can't be undone. The kind where suddenly the entire game becomes visible. The rules you never agreed to. The race you never chose to enter. The scoreboard that was rigged from the start. And you realize you've been running someone else's marathon in shoes that were never your size. So you stop running, and everybody panics. They call it depression, they call it a midlife crisis, they call it giving up. They don't understand that you're not giving up. You're giving back, returning every expectation that was never yours. Every standard you adopted because someone else was afraid you'd outgrow them. Every version of success that had nothing to do with your actual soul. You're returning all of it. And what you're left with might look empty, but it's not empty. It's spacious. There's a difference. An empty room has nothing. A spacious room has possibility. And for the first time in your life, the room is yours. No one else's furniture. No one else's rules about where things should go. Just you, standing in the middle of your own life with permission to build it from scratch. This is where it gets sacred, because in that space, in that raw, terrifying, beautiful silence, after you've stripped away everything that wasn't real, something extraordinary happens. You hear yourself, maybe for the first time since childhood. Not the inner critic, not the anxiety, not the voice of your mother or your father or your ex or society. Your actual self, the quiet one, the wise one, the one that's been waiting underneath decades of noise for a single moment of your attention. And what does it say? It says you're okay, not in the dismissive, surface-level way people say it when they want you to stop talking about your problems. In the bone-deep, eternal, unshakable way. The way the earth knows it's the earth. Not because someone told it, because it simply is. You are okay. You have always been okay. The pain was real. The betrayal was real. The confusion was real. But none of it changed what you are at your core. It only changed what you believed about yourself. And beliefs can be released. They're not bones, they're clothes. And you've been wearing someone else's wardrobe your entire life, wondering why nothing ever fit. Take it off, all of it. The guilt that was handed to you by people who couldn't process their own. The shame that was planted in you before you were old enough to question the gardener. The fear that became so familiar, it started feeling like home. The need to prove yourself to people who wouldn't notice, even if you did. Take it off and stand in what's left. What's left is light, not metaphorical, not poetic, actual light. The kind that doesn't need a source because it is the source. You are not someone who needs to find the light. You are the light that forgot it was shining. And from this moment, something changes. Not because I said the right words, not because this video has some magical power, but because you let yourself be reached. You didn't scroll past. You didn't dismiss it as another motivational speech from the internet. You sat here. You listened. You felt. And in doing so, you gave yourself the one thing you've been withholding for years: permission to stop fighting. So, here is what I want you to carry with you when this video ends and the screen goes dark and you're sitting with yourself again. Not a quote, not an affirmation you'll forget by tomorrow, just this: you don't have to earn the right to exist in peace. Peace is not a reward for people who've suffered enough. It's not something you unlock after you've healed completely, or figured it all out, or reached some spiritual level that impresses people on the internet. Peace is your birthright. It was yours before your first breath, and it will be yours after your last. Everything between those two moments is just weather. Let the weather pass. You don't need to rush your healing. You don't need a timeline. You don't need to measure your progress against someone else's highlight reel. You only need to do one thing: stay here, now. Not in the past where the ghosts live. Not in the future where the fear lives. Here, in this breath, this heartbeat, this moment where nothing is wrong and nothing needs to be fixed, and you are simply, quietly, magnificently alive. Your suffering doesn't end when the pain disappears. It ends when you stop believing the pain means you're unworthy of joy. When you stop using your wounds as evidence against yourself. When you finally look at everything you've survived, and instead of asking why me, you whisper, I understand now. All of it was building me. None of it was breaking me. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You are becoming, and becoming is the bravest, most painful, most beautiful thing a human being can do. If this message was meant for you tonight, if something in these words touched the part of you that's been hiding, do one small thing. Leave a like so this can reach the next soul who needs to hear it. And subscribe, not for content, for the next message that's already making its way to you. The one that will find you on the exact night you need it most, the same way this one just did. You are the light beneath it all, and that light has never left you, not even for a second. Now go forward, not because you figured it all out, but because you finally remember who you are, and who you are was always enough.